Abandoned siblings in the mountain. Once upon a time, there lived an old widower who had two children. The most difficult thing for him was taking care of his two young children. They were still very young siblings. Knowing his plight, people advised him, "Old man, you should remarry. If you get a wife, she will take care of the children." The old man thought this made sense and decided to remarry, finding a woman to be his wife. "Now, I won't have to worry about taking care of the children," he thought. But this was a mistake. The new wife did not like taking care of the children either. In fact, she disliked the siblings. A few days after she moved in, she began to nag her husband. "Old man, get rid of the children. What are you talking about? I married you so you could help take care of them. I don't want to hear it. I can't stand the sight of them." The old man was a kind person, but the new wife had a hard heart. The old man and the new wife argued every day because of this. One morning, the old man had no choice but to load the children onto a cart. He also packed some food in a small bag. The previous night, after a big argument, the wife had told him firmly, "You have to abandon the children in the forest. If you don't, I'll leave." The old man, not wanting to live alone in his old age, decided to abandon the children, but his heart was heavy. "Father, where are you taking us in the cart?" the daughter asked. "We're going to the mountains to gather firewood," the father lied. He pulled the cart far into the forest. "Get off here," he said. The siblings got off the cart. "Stay here and eat this bread while I go chop wood. I'll come back to get you once the cart is full of wood." This was also a lie. The siblings ate the bread and waited for their father to return. Lunchtime passed and evening approached, but their father did not return. Evening turned into night, and their father still did not show up. The younger sister began to cry. "Father isn't coming. How are we going to get home? I'm so hungry." "Don't cry. We can go home together," the brother reassured her. "But you don't know the way home, do you?" "Of course I do. I remember everything." The brother had heard his father and stepmother arguing the night before, and knew they planned to abandon them. So, being clever, he had filled his pocket with ashes and sprinkled them along the way. He led his sister by following the trail of ashes, and they safely returned home. However, they couldn't go inside and hesitated outside the door. Just then, they heard their father lamenting during dinner. "How are those poor children doing?" Hearing this, the children called out, "We're here!" The father ran out and brought them in, and they ate dinner together. That night, the father and stepmother argued again. The stepmother insisted on abandoning the children in the forest to be eaten by wild animals. The next morning, the father again loaded the children onto the cart, with only a small bag of bread. He wept as he took them back to the forest and lied again. "Wait here. I'll come back for you after I finish chopping wood." The siblings waited until evening, but the father never returned. The younger sister cried again. "Don't cry. I scattered pieces of paper along the way so we can follow them home," the brother said. But a disaster had occurred. The wind had blown away all the paper pieces, making it impossible to find their way. As night fell, they wandered until they found a large house. This was the emperor's palace. The siblings cried loudly, attracting the attention of a woman who emerged. She was a gypsy. "What are you children doing here?" she asked. "We're lost and can't get home. Please let us stay for the night." The gypsy woman, who had a bad heart, didn't want to help them and was about to send them away when the emperor, who was strolling in the courtyard, saw them. "What are these children doing here?" he asked. The gypsy woman reluctantly explained their situation. "Let them stay," the emperor commanded. Thanks to his order, the siblings were allowed into the palace, given dinner and a place to sleep. The next morning, the gypsy woman tried to send the siblings away again. However, the emperor found them adorable and ordered, "Let them stay in the palace." Thus, the siblings began to live in the palace. Time passed. The brother grew into a fine young man, and the sister became a beautiful young lady, eventually becoming the emperor's wife. The gypsy woman, whose heart was unkind, was very envious of this. In the palace garden, there was a stream of crystal clear water. One morning, the empress called the gypsy woman. "I want to bathe," she said. The woman took the empress to the stream, led her to the deepest part, and suddenly pushed her. The empress fell into the water, and at that moment, a large fish swimming by swallowed her whole. The gypsy woman was overjoyed. Unaware of this, the brother came out to the garden for some fresh air and asked the gypsy woman, "Where is my sister?" Suddenly, the gypsy woman recited a spell, and the young man turned into a lamb with golden fleece. There was great chaos in the palace as the empress and her brother had disappeared overnight. "Search the palace thoroughly," commanded the emperor. The servants searched but could not find the empress. The emperor, overwhelmed with grief, could not bear the loss. Meanwhile, a lamb with golden fleece that had never been seen before was wandering around the palace. Whenever it saw the emperor, it approached and rubbed itself against him, looking at him with joyful eyes. However, whenever it saw the gypsy woman, it immediately became angry and charged at her with its horns. The gypsy woman decided that the lamb needed to be eliminated. She ordered someone to cut off its head. When the emperor heard of this, he was greatly enraged. "How dare you kill such a beautiful animal? Are you not ashamed?" Thus, the gypsy woman could not kill the lamb. One day, as the lamb was passing by the stream, it heard a voice from the water. "Brother, brother, please rescue me. I am inside the belly of a large fish." Hearing this, the lamb replied, "I wish I could help, but the unkind gypsy woman turned me into a lamb, and I can do nothing." The emperor, who was nearby, heard both the voice from the water and the lamb's reply. The emperor immediately ordered his servants to drain the lake into which the stream flowed. As the water was drained, they found a large fish at the bottom. They caught it, cut it open, and out came the empress. She explained everything the gypsy woman had done. The emperor, furious, ordered the gypsy woman to be captured. He had the lamb turned back into the brother and severely punished the gypsy woman, leading to her demise. 이 이야기의 주요 교훈은 착한 마음과 용기가 결국에는 어려움을 이겨내고 행복을 가져다 줄 수 있다는 것입니다. 남매는 어려운 상황 속에서도 서로를 도우며 지혜롭게 행동했습니다. 또한 황제의 도움으로 결국 좋은 결말을 맞이했죠. 이 이야기는 우리에게 착한 마음으로 행동하고 어떤 상황에서도 용기를 잃지 말라는 메시지를 전해줍니다.